This is a cool article from TechNote. It's about China's software as a service industry. And they ask, where are China's SaaS giants? So this article here, what it says is, while the US has Amazon, Facebook, and Google, China has Alibaba, Tencent, and Baidu. While the US has Salesforce, Adobe, and ServiceNow, China has no equivalent. This is something that we see in our work sometimes, because we were just talking about the trends in China and how e-commerce is so prevalent and search is so prevalent and social is everywhere. But the businesses in China haven't really been totally digitized to the extent that I would see in Canada or other places. They're not always using that software as a service or other equivalents. Now, it goes on. It says, in China, mass SaaS adoption has the potential to address many of the country's workplace challenges. From a macro perspective, the end of the demographic dividend, in which the working age population is greater than the population that does not work, will result in rising labor costs. So in China, basically, labor costs are going up all the time. Like, for example, speaking from the point of view of my company, salaries will go up 10% per year, usually, maybe more sometimes. And they just keep going up and up. So it makes more sense for people to start to use software as a service as the salaries go up. And it also makes more sense for them to try to become more efficient. There's a big drive in China to become more efficient and effective at what they do. The population's getting older. The people that are working just have to get better at what it is that they're doing. Finally, the estimates for the Chinese SaaS market range from 3.7 billion to 6 billion for 2019, less than 6% of the total world SaaS market. And then they show a chart below, and they show that China lags behind the developed world on investments in IT relative to its size. But we shared a couple of weeks ago that the Chinese services market is growing quickly. It might be smaller, but it's growing quickly, and there is a big opportunity there, I think. I'm kind of biased because that's something that our company does, and we tend to attract people that are interested in the things that we're talking about online. So I've worked with lots of software companies from abroad and B2B in general, and some of them are willing to sell into China. But I think that there are many, many more that we don't hear from that probably wouldn't want to sell into China because they think it's not a big enough market or it's tough to break into, which I think not a big enough market is not quite true. It's just not that there's not a good enough SaaS solutions for Chinese consumers yet. But it is true that it is tough to break into China.
I think I want to add up one point in here is I think many companies in overseas don't really want to change kind of the solution into China. I would say like if an overseas company want to emerge into China and want to be popular and adopted by many Chinese companies, one thing you have to definitely do is trying to be localized. I mean, you have to provide the solution for Chinese company, not for like US company or Canada companies. They're different. So you have to be localized to be popular.
Right.
And
Right.
I think many companies just didn't realize on that point. Maybe. Sure. I'm not an expert in here, but that's just my point.
Yeah, sure. Well, the typical Western SaaS company that contacts us, they're lacking a couple things. One is that they're not localized into Chinese yet. They need that Chinese language content. They also need to be able to have the right price point and payment method.
Mm-hmm.
As salaries go up, it makes the tools more and more affordable. But if a company is selling a solution that is $200 per month, when a Chinese consumer sees that, they're going to see that in terms of Chinese yuan. It's going to be 1,400 Chinese yuan or something like that.
Yeah, that's
right?
just quite too expensive.
Yeah, and it might look too expensive for them. They might need to lower that a bit. The other thing is that the recurring model is tougher to get companies to sign up for at first. Whereas I think that you could get a lot of Chinese companies to sign up if you sell them a one-time, you sell them a one-time service that is relatively cheap, and then upsell them after that. This is my idea anyway. Just talking general ideas about how to sell SaaS in China. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. Trying to keep these to about 3 or 4 minutes per item. I don't know. We might go a little bit longer.